Hi there, welcome to this course on Adobe After Effects. My name is Harshit and I'm instructor for this class. Here in this class, you're going to learn to create various types of motion graphics and visual effects right from scratch. So don't worry if you're a complete beginner or know very little things about After Effects, this course would be useful for you. Not just the beginning, you will learn about wide array of animation techniques in After Effects. Here you will learn various types of compositions in After Effects. You will learn to create different animations, 3D transformations. You will learn to create map animation. You will learn about camera tracking and how to create a VFX based on this thing. Then you will learn about color mask. You will learn about creating animated charts and infographics that can be used for various video presentations. Moreover, if you want to animate your text or create cool animations around text, you will learn about kinetic typography as well. And then you can create 2D and 3D motions with various types of objects, 3D components, or images. Moreover, you would also learn about puppet tool that can be used to point and stretch around the screen. Then you will learn about various types of lighting, spotlight, environment light, and other types of 3D lighting. Moreover, you would also learn to create few kinds of video openers, lower third animations, and also you will learn to create motion graphics template that can be used in other video editing software such as Premiere. After that, you will learn to create advanced methods such as expressions for creating animation. So if you're curious to learn these skills in Adobe After Effects, start learning right now. See you in the class.
Hi there, welcome to this tutorial on After Effects. Here in this practical exercise, you are learning how to create a new composition or a new project in After Effects. So let's start. Here we have just opened a new instance of After Effects, and from the project menu, you got an option to create a new project. You can click it there, and this screen will appear on your monitor, and then you got an option to create a new composition or new composition from footage. So just create a new composition. Here you got a setting. Just provide a name of the composition you want to create. uh, Provide any name. Then you got a lot of options here, the width, height, and the option, the preset you can choose. I will be using the default 1920 by 1080 pixel, and it is widely used. It is high definition. You can choose the frame rate. Here 29.9 would be the better frame rate. You can choose the pixel, the square pixel would work here. You can choose the drop frame or not. You can limit the duration of this composition. So in that case, you can't create a timeline greater than that. A composition is completely different from a video, so it should not be very long. For editing, it would be difficult. You can choose a default background color, or you can add a background using solid later. You'll learning that thing. You can toggle this transparency mode on and off. So if you want your screen to be transparent, you can do so. And you can also zoom in the screen size. Here you can reduce the screen size or scale it up based on your requirement. You can zoom in. And there is a workspace settings there. You can choose the default, learning, or advanced editing workspace. You got a lot of options we'll be exploring. And in the workspace, you got detail. Go to Windows. You got a lot of options that you can dock the panels on the screen, like limerick scope for color, effects and preset, the timeline, and everything else, the project window. So keep learning, keep moving ahead. You will be learning a lot of in After Effects in the coming exercises. Hi, welcome back, friend. Here in this practical exercise, you will be learning about various After Effects tools, the shape layer, text, and solid. So let's start. Here you got a shape drawing tool. You can select it, select any shape. Just hold it down to select a circle. Here you got a stroke and fill. So you can readjust the size of a stroke and scale it down or up as per your requirement. You can change the color of your shape. Here I have changed the fill to dark blue. and use the selection tool to move your shape in and around the screen. You can also scale it up or down. You can change the size of your circle, or you can change the shape, twist it around, make it oval, and more. Here, when you go to the layer option, you got a lot of transformation tools that you can adjust. The After Effects is about motion graphics, and motion graphics require a motion. So you can set any kind of motion from position, scale, orientation, and a lot of thing here. So just control this. Click on the stopwatch icon to set a keyframe. Keyframe is a unit of time where you define its position or any value. So here we are animating the position. So by setting a keyframe, we provided a value of the position, and to the other keyframe we provided a different value. You can set a lot of keyframes in this way. Don't worry if you don't get it at the moment. You will be learning all of these things in the coming exercises in much detail. So don't worry, stay tuned. So you can move this shape in and around the screen. And when you want to create a new background, you can create a right click, new, solid, and you can choose your color. So you can create a background. You can have multiple backgrounds as well. So just move it down, because in After Effects, a layer put on the top of another layer is considered to be displayed to your audience. We are going to learn more in depth of After Effects. Keep learning, keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back, friend. Here in this practical exercise, we're learning how to create a composition in After Effects using built-in presets. So let's start. So go to Effects and Preset. Make sure it is available from window. So just go to Backgrounds and use any of the presets there and just drag and drop on the background or the shape layer. So here we have used the circuit background applied on the solid. So here it creates some matrix like animation, and here you got a lot of controls or settings that you can change to make your effect look awesome or fine tune based on your requirement. Here I've changed the color of the background effect. I've changed the pipes to sky blue or lighter shade of blue. Similarly, you can apply some different effect on shape as well, or on text or anything else. Here I've applied the magma to the central uh, circular shape. So you can change the color of the midtones, or you can do a lot of things. You can change the rotation, time, or more. Here, let's create a new text here. Just use the text and type anything on the screen. Here I've written the code. We have to make it a little bigger to make it visible, and you can convert it to capital case and change the color. Let's make it white. And then using the selection tool, just reposition our text on the screen. Here I've placed everything in the center, and let's change the shape of this circle and make it a oval. So here we have changed the shape, and let's apply some effect on this text as well. Or when you move your text behind or in the lower direction of the layer panel, you know that which layer is put behind. It is reflected by the lower sign here. Here you got a lot of effects. Just go to text effects and you can use any of the text effect. Here I will be using the mechanical algorithm effect. So here it looks like it is decoding. So it can create some hacking based documentary or programming series or something like that. Similarly, for different scenarios, there are already built in presets. So you don't need to create everything from scratch. Although with After Effects, you have to create everything from scratch to have a better control, or advanced effects can be created using After Effects. So when you are running out of time or you have a limited time constraint, you can use a built-in presets. Or basically a lot of beginners do also use this presets. You can use it to in a lot of effects. Some of the text animation are easy to implement. They look very advanced, and it has already been used by a lot of web series or and Hollywood movies. So you don't need to be fascinated by these effects. some are just presets. So you can have a better balance of these things. You will learning more in the coming exercises. Till then, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hi, after you have created a composition in After Effects, so the next obvious step is to convert it to a video. So there are two ways to convert it to a video. You can use the built-in render queue in After Effects, or you can use the media encoder. Here we will be exploring to use the render queue. So here you can add a video to render queue. It will be rendered later. So here you can have a lot of settings. You can change the output to a different format, but here the default format is AVI. AVI is a large file. It takes time to render as well. Here you got render settings. You got a lot of settings like the quality. You can set the time rate, work area, and frame rate. The default frame rate must be 29 or 30 frames per second. It would be perfect for all the scenarios, and just hit the render button once you are done with the setting. When you have a good GPU, then it renders faster as compared to non-GPU systems. And once you are done, it will be reflected here, and you can open and play that video. You are free to use that video in any of the video editing softwares to use in your documentaries or any video projects. Hi, welcome back. In the previous video, we have edited a video using render queue, and now it's time to use the media encoder. So Adobe Media Encoder is a different software that has a built-in presets to export or convert a video into various formats. You can create GIF format, you can create MP4 or more. The way is simple. Go to File, Export, and Media Encoder, and the Media Encoder window will open in a few seconds. And if you have a good GPU and RAM, it will render very fast. So when the Media Encoder just pops up, you got a lot of options there. Just wait for a video to be screened. You can click here and choose the format. You can set the animated GIFs. You can set the MP4H .264 format, or you can use the QuickTime for Apple ecosystems. You have a lot of options here. You can export your video in almost any format, and you can go to the path where video is rendered and just use the play button to start exporting your video. When you have the GPU acceleration, you can use it. You got a CUDA GPU acceleration for NVIDIA RTX and GTX GPUs, or in a similar manner, you can use GPU acceleration. And if you don't have, and the i7 or i5 would work smoothly, you can use. Let's play the video. Here I've created this video. This has exported in MP4 format, H264, and this is an ideal format. You can choose any format based on your requirement and keep building such projects. Keep learning, keep moving ahead.
Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this practical exercise, you're learning how to create simple 2D animation with After Effects. So let's start. Now just create a new composition and just go to settings. You can provide your name and choose the default preset. Here I am going with a HDTV 1080 high definition with 30 frame per second, 29.97 to be exact, and we have chosen the width 1920 by 1080 pixel, and we have chosen the default background to be black. You can change the background or make it transparent, it's your choice. So here we will be animating a simple car and move it in 2-dimension background. So just import our assets. I've created these three assets from Adobe Illustrator, and these are vector files. You can import the PNG files because PNG maintain the transparency, or you can use the vector files. When you scale your image or make it smaller in size, and again try to scale it back in the JPG or PNG format that are rasters or pixel based, you would lose the quality when you scale up. But when you scale up using the vector file, you won't lose the quality. So let's go with the vector file, and you can reposition your image anywhere on the screen. I would be using the vector file, the main illustrator. So just simply add it to the layer panel, and this layer is there placed. And then just go to the selection tool and just add the background. Here just we want to add a background. Here we have created a simple mountain terrain with a clear background sky. You can move the background as well, but here we would be learning how to animate the car. So just place the car above the background, so it would be visible and car is smaller, and then rescale it down to the appropriate size you want. So you'll just reposition our car to the left corner of the screen, and this car would be moved above it slightly. Here I've created some cloud, so just place two clouds, place it on a corner of the screen in the sky, and you can copy this thing or you can move it around on the screen. Just Control C and Control V. You can copy a layer and duplicate a layer easily. So here we got two clouds, one background, hilly terrain, and a car. So now just animate it. So here just move the keyframes to the in the timeline. You got the preview option here in the FX and presets, and when you preview it, it won't preview because we have not yet added any keyframes. So just zoom in the timeline a little bit further so that 1 second unit is visible. So we will be moving just say half a second, and just go to the car, and you can turn the invisibility on and off. You can go to transformations and apply transformation to any of the properties. Here we will be using the position, so just keyframe, hit the stopwatch icon, you can see it clearly, and it will add a keyframe. Keyframe is a unit of time that stores the value of a particular property. Here the position, you can add the property to opacity or scale. So after some time, place one more keyframe with a gap of say 1 second and move the car to the top of the first hill. Then just wait for a second. Here the car is moving. We got a simple animation. Move 1 second later, and then hit the diamond icon again and place your car to the desired position. You can observe the motion path of this car is being created by the keyframes in the timeline you create. So then replace the car again in the forward direction. A car is moving from left to the right end of the screen, and then move it out. So when you replay it, it will look like car is moving. But we want to fine tune it because the terrain is curvy and car seems like it is flying or hovering. It is not touching the ground. The wheels are not touching the ground at all time. So we have to orient it according to the path. So when it is moving uphill, the back portion of the car must be a little bit lower or curved. So what we can do first, we have to realign the path itself to the mountain terrain. So you can move the points up and down to the proper location. This way everything would be aligned our path, and then would be next step, we would be orienting our car. Just right click this layer and go to transform. Here you find the transform, and then just go to auto orient. So this will auto orient your object, here the car, according to the path, and you have to auto orient, disable it, enable it, sorry. So this way the car is orienting itself according to the terrain. So it is very cool. This is the power of After Effects. You can control a lot of property very easily. It may look very difficult to the beginner, but when you start applying it, it would be easy for you. So here you can change the duration of the keyframes. Go to this detailed options and you can change the speed of your car or make it faster or slower. There are multiple ways to do this thing, but we won't be using this method. So when you don't need, just collapse it because we don't want this option to fill our timeline. Uh, Timeline must be in focus. It must be clearly visible. So here we would be using the graph editing tool to control the speed and position. So here there's a small icon next to the timeline, and you can zoom in the screen or zoom out the screen as and when you want for easy. Sometimes your object may be placed out of the screen and you want to apply some effect here. You can scale the cloud up and down. You can change the size of your cloud, make it smaller or bigger. So just go to scaling property and in the starting point just make it a little bit smaller and wait for a second. Put another keyframe and enlarge it. So then replay it. So our car is moving in the hill slowly and the cloud is growing. So we have created a simple effect, and in the next video you will be learning about speed graphs and how you can control the speed of your car. So when it is moving uphill, it must have the reduced speed, and when it is moving downhill, it must gain a speed. Keep learning. Now moving forward with our car animation, here we can control the speed. So we have created a simple car, provided the keyframes. It is moving in the forward direction over time. So when it is moving uphill, we want it to slow down because it takes a lot of energy to move uphill. And when it is moving downhill, it must gain some speed. So we can do the same thing in different ways. So just hit the graph editor. It is next to the timeline. Simple. So just click it. Here we got two formations, one in green color and one is in red. So it represents the x and y coordinates, or it can represent different parameters. You can select all the keyframes and go to this tool, and when you move this points keyframe here in its curve in the upward direction or downward, its value will change. So we don't want our car to fly in the sky above the clouds. We want it to remain in the same way. So what we can do is select a keyframe at a particular point for both the coordinates and slide it slightly towards the center. It is in a similar way you can do with the keyframes directly in the timeline. So here you can note when car is moving downhill, it is getting some speed gain. Similarly, you can do the same thing with the next keyframe for the second hill. So it will be slow when moving uphill, and when getting downhill, it will gain some momentum. You can directly edit the speed. Here I have achieved the same result using the position tool, position graph. So you can check it. The keyframe position is reflected here, and you can perform similar operations. Try to innovate and build some more things. You can add a plane, fly it in the sky. You can add a ship. You can add something that is relevant to you. You can turn the opacity on and off, or you can have some value. You can keyframe the rotation, scale, anchor point, and more. So in some movies, you can have the moving car in the sky that can be turned invisible. So you can apply the same effect. Hello, welcome back friend. Here in this practical exercise, you will be learning to create an animated opener in After Effects. We will be creating a loop opener where we would be using a shape and repeating over time to create a hypnotic loop. So here let's draw a shape. We have created a polygon with a stroke yellow and with no fill. So just go to the path in details of the shape and go to the points and select the points, the number of points you want. If you want a triangle, you can choose. If you got a pentagon, hexagon, or any shape, you can choose. I would be using a simple hexagon, and let's place it to the 0 degree, align it to the background. So here it is, and the next step is to use the selection tool and place it to the center of the screen. So the rough center of the screen, and then we would be applying animation using the transformation. You can change the color, so let's make it a little orange color. So we would be using a combination of orange and yellow. So here we have this orange hexagon with a stroke and no fill. Just rename it for convenience. So rename it to orange. So here we have this orange hexagon, and then go to the scale option. We would be animating just a scale. You can animate any transformation thing, you can apply any effect or anything else. Just half a second, we would be making it 0 in size and keyframe it. So just put a keyframe after 1 second and make it say 100%. So it will grow in 1 second frame, and then move 1 second forward and make it say 250% or 300%. So 250 would be better. And after 1 second, just put another keyframe and enlarge it, either using the screen monitor, or you can drag here and make it fit to the screen. So it is not aligned properly, just move it slightly to the direction you want. So we have changed the direction, and here it is, our animation. Just preview it, it will grow eventually into this big. So just play it. So this is our simple animation. There is no easing applied. You can apply easing, it's your choice. And make it little bit thicker, because we want a thick hexagon to appear. We It would be an opener, so it must be attractive and clearly visible. So then readjust the size where you want, but we don't want to put any extra keyframe here. The 4 keyframe would be sufficient. So what we would be doing next, just copy the same hexagon and rename it to yellow. So here we would be creating another hexagon inside this hexagon. We would be looping it. Change the color of this thing, and then go to 1 second and starting, and click the opening bracket or drag it at that point. So it will have the same transformation with respect to time, the scaling, but its effect starts after 1 second of the first. It has a delay of phase delay of 1 second. You can imagine it as a wave. So we would be creating a wave. Similarly, just copy this orange and yellow again and do the same thing. Within orange, put yellow. Within yellow, put orange, and again. So this is a double loop. So we have created 4 hexagons, and they are repetitive, and this is a loop. You can also create more and more again in a similar way. I would be fine with 3 pair of hexagons, each separated by a gap of 1 second. Say do this again. Use the open bracket, select a timeline of a layer, select a layer, and put the open bracket. So it will start at that point. So here this is. It may look taking long time for you, so you can change the gap, make it more fast. The gap could be reduced to 1 second, or you can change the number of loops. You should not use 6 loops. Yeah, maybe 4 would be better for your scenario. It depends. If you are creating a television documentary, web series, it could be a longer. But if you are putting a video on YouTube or other places, it could be short. It depends. A long cinematic movies take a longer opener, so it's your requirement. So just place a text in the center, and we want this text to appear at the end of transition, just before the end of transition. We will be applying scaling to this as well. So just expand it, press S, so you can apply transformation to scaling. Set a keyframe, initially make it 0, and after a gap of say 1 second, make it 100%. And here it is, a rough view of our animation. So Studio XYZ, you can put your name, anything you want to put here. You can put in text and then enjoy. So here we can fine grade this animation, make it big, go to the character panel, fine tune this effect. You can choose your own font, change your color and everything you want. So this will be a opener. You can reduce the gap between the layers, or you can also increase the size. You can reposition any keyframes or anything you want. Here I've added the opacity, and I will be copying the same opacity effect to all the layers just before the text is appearing. So place in every place, just copy this thing and it would be a cool opener. So here it is, our hexagons are appearing to the screen, and when the Studio XYZ name appears, everything gets into faded very smoothly. You can shift all the layers leftwards based on your requirement. Here say half a second gap would be a quicker transition, and place them over half a second gap. And you can just slide all the layers using the cursor, or you can use the left or opening bracket. So here it is, let's have a view of this preview. But it is fast. A text must be delayed after some time, so we don't want our text to appear at the same point. It must have some gap. So here it is, the hexagons are appearing and the studio is appearing. So it is a smooth transition, but the opacity takes time for each layers. You can fine tune these things, try building your own opener, loop, keep learning and keep moving ahead. Hi, welcome back friend. Here in this practical exercise, we're learning how to create a rotating earth 3D animation in After Effects. So let's start. Here I've just created an Illustrator vector file. It looks like earth, but it is not an earth. So here we have these surfaces, and make sure the effects and preset option is available from the window. And when you go to the effect, just search CC sphere and just drop it either on the layer or in the project window on your image. So it will create a sphere out of that image, and you got a lot of control here. You can increase the radius of this sphere, make it appear bigger and closer to the screen. You can add the lightning option. You have the rotation, 3D rotation. When we want our earth to rotate, we would be using the Y rotation. You can also rotate any other axis like X and Z. It depends on your object you are placing, like you are using the crystal ball or anything. Here we would be using the simple earth, the solar system. So in that case, Y rotation would be fine for us. And you can change the anchor point, but it doesn't affect this scenario. Here you can control the light. You can change the color of light, make it yellow, blue, green, any color that is available here. But I think white works in all the scenario. It looks good because it consists of all other colors. You can also change the angle or height of the light. So if you want such effect like a morning, night, and the daytime effect is visible, like sun is appearing from earth in one direction, it would be easy to apply. You can also change the direction of light. It depends on the location of sun. If you want your sun to the right hand side, you can do. If you want to place your sun on the left hand side, it depends on you. You can control everything. Here you can implement a galaxy, a solar system, or any similar object. You can also apply the same thing in other storytelling or any other animation ideas you have. but I would be using solar panel, solar system. And here you have changed the light height. You can keyframe all these properties very easily and effectively to convey a message. Just zoom in the timeline a bit and set the light height to 0 initially, and after a gap of a few seconds make it 100%, so it will cover entire earth. So this way you can replicate the morning to day time effect on earth, but earth is continuously revolving and rotating, so we want a rotation of earth to be visible. So in this case, at this point when sun is just setting, the morning is appearing, we just go to Y rotation and keyframe it to 0, and moving after a few seconds just make 1, because we want complete 1 rotation. After some time we want our earth to rotate slowly, not very fast, because it takes 24 hours to complete a rotation. So in this animation it should not complete that fast, it must be little bit slow. However, you can control the speed as much you want. You can make it very fast, you can make it very slow, or you can change the speed based on the time. For 1 second it could be fast, another 1 second it could be slow, or you can freeze the animation as well. Try exploring all these options of CC sphere effect and keep learning, keep moving ahead. You will be learning more in the coming exercises. Hello, welcome back. Now moving forward with creating other planet of our solar system. Here we would be creating a sun. So just create a new solid, right click, create a new solid, choose any color and go to effects and preset, go to the background and choose the magma. Drop this effect on the solid and it will apply the magma effect, that is the surface of sun, to your solid. Then apply it again if at the place where you want your animation to start. So then just search CC sphere, because sun is also an sphere like earth, and we have to make it a little bit larger and place them accordingly. Here on the left hand side you got a lot of controls with effects. You can change the values of a lot of things here, but just simply first reposition them in the proper location. Make sun appear a little bigger and place our sun in towards the left direction, because sunlight is coming from the left side to the earth, and place our earth to a little distance. And here this is a rough animation. Okay, so we have created two different spheres. We have applied a background layer, magma layer, here to the sun. Similarly, you could also create multiple planets in the similar way. Here you got the controls of CC sphere, the magma layer, and a lot of effects. You can also rotate the direction of sun, because the sunlight is towards the earth, so our sun must have a light source in that direction. You can add more things based on your requirements and how you look and feel. You got a lot of controls here, but I won't be using these things at this time. Here let's rename this to sun, so it will be easily available. You can keyframe any of the property, say position. We want our sun to appear from left hand side before the earth starts rotating. So let's go to 0 second and put the sun out of the screen, and over some time, over an interval of say 1 second, just reposition a sun to a desired location. You can move using the coordinates, put a value, or directly use the control monitor screen. So our sun is appearing from the left side. We have animated the position, rotation, and a lot of things here. So after we have created a sun, you can also apply the keyframes to the speed of sun if you want it to appear smoothly and taking a speed gradually over time. But it looks very fast. Sun, it looks like somebody is throwing a ball. we have to make it a little bit slow. You can do some more timing adjustment later on based on your preview. And when you are done, you can also add the stardust or the comets in the background. You can use the graph editor to edit the speed of any location. Here just create a new solid for the background. Here you can change the color because this time the color matters. Just choose a darker shade of blue, a vibrant color, and then search CC Stardust. So Stardust would appear like this. Just drop it on the surface. Here you got a galaxy, but it looks weird because the star is appearing from the background and foreground as well. Just put our layers of earth and sun on the top and put the stardust in the background. So this way you have created a scene like an old movie of Star Trek or Martian. So here we got this thing. You can add more colors of stardust, change the color. Say you can take yellow, red, blue, green, any color. I will be choosing the green color here and just hit the OK. Choose a light tone and we have created this thing. And then apply the same effect, the stardust, on this green background. So this way we have got the comets in two different colors, stardust. You can change the size of the particles. You got effect control on the left hand side. A lot of properties you can adjust here. You can adjust the size, adjust the speed, the density, and a lot of things based on your requirement. So here we got this animation simple. You can preview it again and again. You can also add a different color shade. You can keep on adding different comments, different shades. Try applying on yellow color and then just go to the properties here. Just preview it to check if you're doing good. Change the size of the particles. So we have made the yellow particle small, green let's keep them in the middle range, and blue let them be the bigger size. So here we got particles in three different colors in different size. So we learned a lot of things to control the properties and apply different effects. After Effects is a combination of this motion graphics and the visual effects that you create, and they would allow you to convey a good story or present your ideas easily with great visual effects. You can also apply the starters in gaps. So try experimenting with these properties, keep building your own solution, keep learning, and keep moving ahead. Hello, welcome back friend. Here in this practical exercise we'll be learning about creating a 3D lightning in After Effects. So just right click in the timeline and here just create a new light and you can choose a parallel light, a spotlight, point light, anything. I will be going with point light. You can change the color, intensity, smoothness, darkness, and anything. So just press OK. Here you have created a lightning source. You have to make every other layer in 3D. So just enable this 3D box icon and these layers are in 3D. You know that you have to make 3D only the layers you want to work with. So you can change the color of light. I have changed to yellow. It doesn't look good. You can change the intensity. You can change the color. White is a perfect color. It makes all other colors visible. You can change the softness, the crispness, and you got various settings. You got darkness and diffusion and more options here. You can keyframe almost anything. The options you get, you can also change the position of your light from left, right, top, bottom, and in the Z direction. X, Y, Z, all coordinates are there for animation. So just go to start of the animation and keyframe a few things. So just keyframe intensity Initially make it uh, less intense and keep the value of intensity low, and after some time, say 1 second or more, you add another keyframe and put the brightness to 170% or 150% around, and then after 1 second you can reduce the brightness, the intensity of light, to a little bit normal, so it comes into highlight, gets into focus and dims out. So this is a simple animation. You can add more lightning option. You can add the spotlight, the disco light, anything like that. If you have a video recorded and you want to add disco features, you can use the spotlight and various lighting options. You have to just play with various options. You will learn a lot. So here add one more keyframe and make it completely dark. Just go to this diamond option and you can change the value. You can just hover around or you can provide the exact value in numbers by just double clicking that thing. Here this animation looks good. Just press spacebar to preview your animation again and again. So here just reposition this light over time. Initially just keep it towards left and we will moving in the rightward direction. So we have animated the intensity and we can animate the position as well. So say after a second you can reposition it to the light rightward and right direction. um, 1 second gap is there for the transition. If you want a faster transition you have to place the keyframes just close by. If you want a slow transition you have to increase the gap between the keyframes. This is simple. It is not rigid. After Effects is very dynamic, so you can change almost anything you have done on the go. So once you have declared a keyframe, you don't need to delete everything. If you want to have a different value, you have to reposition it. That's all. So here you can check other effects here, but as they are not in 3D, so it won't be visible right now. You can play with them. So here it is. Try building your own solution, keep learning and keep moving ahead.